As we wind up the year 2024, today I want to talk about one of the most controversial subjects that I've engaged with this year. That is the subject of spirituality versus religion. Now, the African race is probably the only race that has had the misfortune of always having to prove its humanity. Even dogs have never been asked to prove their dogness. And that is because of the history of humiliation, the history of dehumanization, the history of colonization, and so on and so forth. I have had the advantage of being taught philosophy by some of the most senior philosophers here in Kenya. The person who introduced me to logic at Egerton University, Professor Frederick Ochieng Odhiambo, for example, is one of the professors who have really written about something called ethnophilosophy. And I've also had the advantage of reading Professor John Mbiti's epical publication on African religions and philosophy. The problem is that a lot of our intellectuals have spent a lot of time reacting to Eurocentrism, the belief that everything European is superior. But there is no civilization in the world that does not have a belief system or some form of deity. There is no civilization in the world that does not have its own religion and philosophy. The problem is that whereas spirituality is universal, religion is a man-made institution that can be used for different purposes. Indeed, our introduction to both Christianity and Islam were as a result of other races basically trying to colonize us, trying to change our thinking systems, trying to get us into their own ways of thinking, into their own cultures for purposes of exploiting us. So religion is often instrumentalized to achieve those purposes. But African people should not run away from spirituality. We have our cultures, we have our arts, we have our thought systems. Only that our thought systems have been dominated by those who have wanted to colonize us, those who have wanted to enslave us, and so on and so forth. Now that we are trying to integrate the continent, and hopefully the African people can build a mass and a movement to actualize African unity, because the elites will not do it, because the elites benefit from their relationships with elites anywhere else, if you look at Marxist thinking. So as we Africans try to build a movement to integrate the continent, we must not forget that that movement should be informed by a philosophy, a thought system based on spirituality.